show brought to you by Bellini's Texas Grill. So let's start off this show by talking about the game Friday against Vandegrift, and it was a fantastic game, 13-6. Offensive MVP in this game was Stedman Mayberry. Offensive back of the week was Adrian Duncan. Offensive lineman was Rolando Huerta. Offensive receiver was J.D. Hill. Defensive overall MVP was Micah Thomas. Linebacker of the week was Jamie Fagley. Secondary player of the week was DeQuan Patton. Defensive line was Isaac Higgins. Special Forces was a tie with P.J. Grady and DeQuan Patton. The Hammer Award went to Jamie Fagley, and the RBI Award went to Tyler Zeman.
Looking at our sub-varsity scores, we had some really close games with Vandegrift in our sub-varsity scores. Really proud of all of our teams and how much they're improving. This week we want to highlight some offensive linemen and some defensive linemen again. And in our JV Red game, offensive lineman of the week was Gage Smith. Defensive lineman of the week was Steven Alexander. In our JV Black game, the two linemen we want to highlight, offensive lineman of the week was Ben Nichols, and defensive lineman was Stuart Hines. In our freshman games, some offensive linemen and defensive linemen doing a great job in the red game was Carlos Ralda, and our defensive lineman was London Bean. And in the freshman black game, offensive lineman of the week was split between two guys, Brendan Chase and Jacob Pryor, and defensive line went to two guys, Casey Russa and Rodrigo Fierro. So we're really proud of all these linemen and the improvement that they made this week.
And every week we like to highlight the guys who really worked hard on the scout teams and really set their ego down on the table to give the varsity guys a great look. This week the hard hats went to Cade Smar, Zane Corsi, Steven Alexander, Ricky Patnode, Aaron Schlapkel, Mike Valdez, Matthew Piper, Derek Barrett, Cole Shoemaker, Chandler Harrison, and Andrew Bonham. And those guys worked really hard in practice. So Vandegrift, fantastic game. I'm sure you've seen some great things out of your players. What are they? What did the players do great? What did they do bad?
Well, looking at the game from an overall standpoint, just really proud of our patience of our players and our coaching staff and being diligent throughout the game, because coming into it we talked about how good the defenses would be in the game. Early on in the game, we were able to get some offensive scores, and then defensively, we just kept holding and kept doing a really good job. And late in the game, we had to punt several times and put it on our defensive shoulders, and they did a great job late in the game, just persevering and staying with what we were trying to do. Some things we brought, some things that we came away with. There's still some things that we have got to get better at and clean up, and a lot of those things we will address this week and make sure that we get better at. But overall, I was proud of our guys they kept their composure, they kept fighting, and we made some plays when we needed to make some plays, and they just keep finding a way to win. So I'm really proud of them for fighting and doing those things.
And that last minute defensive stop was fantastic. The fans were going crazy in the stands. And that was the Ranger Nation really showing up and having a good time. And having this win and going into the bye week, what are some keys in practice? Because you got to work on something. It's not an off week.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest mistake you can make is treating it like an off week. Obviously we know something about Dripping Springs, but we haven't exchanged films, that type of deal. But in your bye week, it's a great time to study concepts and make sure that we're getting, we want to make sure all our fundamental footwork is right. It's a great time to make sure that you're blocking and you're tackling, making sure that you're taking care of the fundamentals of throwing and catching and ball security. All those little things that we just need to make sure that we do. And also, looking at Dripping Springs, there's some concepts that we know they like to do based on, the last several years, that type of deal. And so we go ahead and we start working on those concepts and making sure that we're in the right places on those. But mainly it's a chance for us to reevaluate us and work on all the fundamentals that are fundamental to our special forces, our defense, and our offense.
Now, would you say those the fundamentals are the keys to Drip, or is there more to it?
Well, for us, honestly, the things that we learned from the Vandegrift game, I think it's a great springboard into what we need to get ready for Dripping Springs. I mean, similar in some areas, but different. We know Dripping Springs got an outstanding quarterback and wide receivers, really good players. Got a big physical offensive line, and they do a good job of mixing up what they do offensively. Defensively, we have not faced the 3-3 stack yet this year, and they run a 3-3 stack. So those are things that when you talk about rules for our linemen and you talk about who we want to block and our protections and those type things, those are the things that I'm thankful for the open week to kind of work on those things. But in addition to all the things we mentioned earlier, ball security, throwing and catching, blocking, ankles, tackling, pursuit. Those are all the things we're working on in addition to. Drip's got a great defense, and they've got really good offense, and we're looking forward to continuing to work on those things.
Right, and on paper they may not seem like state championship like Travis going out there. They're 3-2 and out of district and 0-1 in district, but you can't really underestimate that. Do you preach that to your players?
I think our guys. I'm pretty sure they got the picture of what it's going to be like every week. Every week we go out to play, it's going to be a tough matchup. And Dripping Springs is you can't look at records, especially when you get in our league. You got to throw the records out the window. It's a brand new season, and you know as well as I do. The other night, weather conditions, different things play into factors of all of it. But the biggest thing is everybody in our district's good, and on any given night, you have to really make sure that you take care of what you need to.
Right. You talked about those weather conditions in the Vandegrift game. It was pouring, and that's difficult as a fan base to stay in the stands because it's uncomfortable. But the Ranger Nation, we were all there. Do you think the players noticed that, or?
Well, I don't know about the opposing team or what they've got going, but for us, anytime our fan base is there and supporting us, as a former player, as a coach, sometimes I don't notice because I've got headsets on and that type of deal. But as a former player, feeling the energy of the crowd, knowing that the guys on your sideline are pulling for you, the fact that our bands really couldn't play and that type of deal, but our band stuck it out, and our star steppers and our cheer and all our fans, they support us really well, and to see them stay and stick it out and see them at the end of the game there, it was a great feeling, and it makes our boys feel really supported, and it makes them feel like there's a lot of people behind them.
Yeah, I know at the end of the game, the band, instead of playing their songs, they were singing them, and that shows
That's kind of neat.
It was cool. So what are some things to look forward to coming in this week and then the next week going into Drip?
Well, like I said, a lot of fundamentals, a lot of academics this week, a lot of things that we're concentrating on. But going into next week, we talked about Dripping Springs and that schedule. We'll have some good contests on Thursday night. We'll have 2 freshman games to get Dripping Springs. Our JV will play them. Our JV Red or JV Black will kind of be on a different schedule for next week. But also it's homecoming for our school and our community. So a lot of fanfare and lots of things surrounding that, and it'll be real important for our guys to stay focused on what they need to with the district ball game. But be fun for our fans and be fun for our school, to have a homecoming contest.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be really fun. And October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the 26th we're going to be doing a pink out in the Ranger Nation stand. So pre-order your shirts on VistaRidgeFootball.mobi. Everybody needs to wear it. This is a really good cause. And if you're in the mood for a great family atmosphere and fantastic food, check out Bellini's Texas Grill off Colonial Parkway. Thank you guys for watching the show.